So with mountains out in the background there, I'm out near Nagano in an area called SAKU with this giant hard off house and hobby off. And this one's a little interesting because it might have the loudest and most aggressive store music I think I've ever heard of any hard off before, but it is absolutely massive and has this little alien dude. So I wanted to take you guys through today and show you what is here. And there is a lot here. Every time I come out to the countryside, I love checking out the hard-offs and thrift stores that they have because it's always such an adventure, and each area is kind of representative of that area and what they do. For example, we're out in a very small countryside area, and so stargazing and night sky viewing. You get this Star Watcher here for 27,000 yen, or this poster right here for, it's like a wooden poster for 100 yen. You have the audio and speaker section. Who needs this? When I see things like this at around 330,000 yen, so with the current exchange rate somewhere around 2,000 US dollars, I always wonder who turned this in, who sold this. You get these big old speakers and everything here, and all the old tube amps and whatnot over here, and still at pretty pricey range too. Like, you get 275,000 for that. We're going to try and make our way through as much of the store as we can today. Giant amps and whatnot over here, but once again, excuse the incredibly loud hard-off music in the background, as it's kind of like a nightclub in here. I'm going to try to overpower it as much as I can with my voice, but honestly, it is quite a bit, and there's some weight to this. This is actually considerably heavier than it looks. So we'll start here because everybody's always like, spend a little more time on the instruments. So that is what we'll do. We'll start right here. We have a nice Fender Stratocaster for 297,000. So again, with the exchange rate somewhere between 2 and 2.5 grand US. You get some interesting guitars up here, but for the most part, they're fairly reasonably priced for a used instrument. In fact, you get ones around here for as low as 8,800 yen. So once again, somewhere give or take around 50 bucks. And the speaker that's causing all the trouble is right up there, and it's so loud. There we go. Wow, with the nylon strings as well. And there's just a straight up banjo. In case you wondered, what? Are these? Got mandolins up here. I don't think I've ever been into a hard-off, hobby-off, or second-hand store that has mandolin. And when you go out to the countryside ones, there's also a fairly wide range of used tools as well. A lot of stuff, for example, from Makita. What do we got here? Oh, got a whole saw set in here, 165 millimeter, 18 volt power saw, which I've broken it. I don't know how to close it, guys. It doesn't want to close, and I don't want to break it. There we go. All the way down, and there we go. Okay, moving on to Mr. Giant Fan over here, and while a lot of it is used goods, some of it as well will just be kind of wholesale that might not have gotten sold somewhere. And so hard off, hobby off, off house, they'll often have the used stuff and a whole bunch of wholesale stuff as well. And this guy's triggered something over here. We got the power banks and battery banks like Noose and Jackery and Anchor and all that. And then over here, we've got everything from flutes and clarinets all the way up to trumpets and saxophones and more stargazing goods with, again, incredibly enjoyable hard-off music and a whole range of drums. This is, honestly, we've been into some pretty big hard-offs and hobby-offs here in the country, but this one very much might take the cake just in terms of size and variety of stuff. It is really jam-packed in here. And you've got a whole range of old phones here. Usually you'll come across one, maybe two of these old, they call them black phones, the dial phones here. You get really oshare or fancy ones here as well. What is that plug? That is an interesting plug. I wonder what that would plug into. Like, I don't know if you can see that there, but that is by no means a normal plug. And then you get all the little label printers and everything. Remembering the names for things on cue as you go is much more of a challenge than you might think. And then down this aisle here, we have a ton of speakers. Everything from Yamaha all the way up to the Bose speakers. Again, decently priced. Now, when we come down this way, we get more stereo equipment as well as the monitors and whatnot up here. You can get an Iris Oyama ultra wide right there. MSI, got all kinds of brands here. And looping around here, we've got used phones, and then we get into things like the graphics cards and all the old used laptops and whatnot, and old used computers. And they run the range from simple computers all the way up to more powerful gaming computers. Mind you, even if you say more powerful gaming computers, it's really only an i7. It's a fairly powerful i7, but only at 2.1 gigahertz, 32 gigabytes memory. All right. There is honestly so much to see in here, and I always get sucked into like the retro gaming stuff. Like, you've got an old Game Boy Color here for around less than $100. That is really not too bad. As well as the remake of the Game & Watch over here. I really like these, and no way. This right here, this is the Game & Watch multi-screen Donkey Kong. It was one of the first ones out, and I did an entire video on Tokyo Lens unboxing all this old Nintendo stuff from all the way back from the 1970s. And look at the size of the TV. And that was in there, but I was never able to find one in box, despite wanting one in box. So that is a treat right there. And you got everybody going here through the records. What have we got here? Oh, I have so many questions. What do you think this is? So this back corner here is the junk section. So in the junk section, you're going to find stuff that probably doesn't work or simply hasn't been tested. So you get a photo player here. You get these PSVR PlayStation headsets and a ton of records and record players. And usually, like this one here, it works, it spins, but the sound doesn't come out very well. So if you're crafty and you're good at repairing, you can grab something like this for around 1,600 yen and fix it up, and you are good to go. But we come down this way. Again, we get like Asus computer parts, and we have them all in bags and whatnot here, and an absolute ton of records over here. My studio walls are just filled with records that I got at places like this. And Mr. Minion, what in the world are you? Okay, he's a speaker. Interesting. Looks like all of these are little tiny speakers. And then when we get into this section here, we get a lot of the junk gaming stuff as well. Like that, look at all the Taiko no Tatsujin stuff for 330 yen, 100 yen for this one. Just incredible prices. And walkie-talkies, which because of Japan's radio laws, you can't use like FRS radio walkie-talkies from like the US and Canada and whatnot. Obviously, never try to use like a walkie-talkie or radio overseas without knowing the laws, but even normal walkie-talkies, the short-range ones in Japan, they seem like they're changing up the laws. But here we've got all these old Famicom, all the old original Nintendos, and they're around 1,000 yen for these, and they're just stacked and wrapped here. Again, I managed to get a really rare rebuilt one with a clear top that you can see inside. That's in that unboxing every Nintendo system video. And then that is not in good condition whatsoever, which would explain the 550 yen. But the Sunsoft SunStation pad for the PlayStation, like there is so... This honestly is one of the most jam-packed, and if we come over to this side, it's all junk CDs and games and stuff like that. And this might genuinely be one of the most jam-packed hard-off, hobby-off combos that I have managed to come to so far. There is just way too much to see. And you get controllers in slightly better condition for around $16.50. You get Blu-ray DVDs and all the old retro gaming stuff. I'm always going to default to trying not to spend too much time here because it's really easy to get sucked into it. But yet all the old Nintendo Disc Station stuff, I have fallen in love with my Disc Station and have spent way more time playing Disc Station games than I ever thought I would. And there's a Crayon Shinchan Game Boy game. Good to know. And you get the control pads out here as well. There is such a range of stuff, including all these different types of custom PlayStations, like the Dragon Quest one, and they've got 2 of them as well. I always say that if you want to really enjoy thrift store stuff, you need to get out of Tokyo, because Tokyo's going to have a much smaller selection and everything's going to be a lot more expensive. And this kind of proves it. This place is only about a 3-hour drive from Tokyo, and you can definitely come out here by train as well. And what? Oh my goodness! The McDonald's Evangelion transforming McDonald's set, that is incredible, for 8,800 yen. I don't need it. I'm gonna try and walk away from it, but I really like it. I really like it. And so this place is a perfect example of what you can gain access to, both here on Tokyo Lens Explorer as well as over on Tokyo Lens. You will see a ton of videos of thrift stores just because it's a hobby of mine. I love coming out and checking them out. But if you compare any of the ones that are actually in Tokyo, look at all this airsoft stuff. And is that a rubber band gun? That is the most serious and hardcore rubber band gun I think I have ever seen in my entire life. And some of these are just so realistic. Like overseas in a lot of countries, you need to have orange tips on them, or at least have them be clear plastic or something, because that looking that realistic will get you in some very serious trouble. But if you compare this to any of the thrift store videos from Tokyo or anywhere near Tokyo, you'll notice a massive difference just in the scale, and there's still so much more in here to check out. Like it goes all the way down there. So as we do a little bit of a speed run through some of the toys, I want to share something with you. So usually companies reach out to me asking if they can back or sponsor a video, but from time to time I find something that I love so much that I want to share it. So last year I had a ton of trips overseas. In fact, I managed to hit in Amsterdam, Thailand, England, Alaska, Australia, Toronto, so many more places. And a bunch of that is actually still set to come out out on the channel, and look at all these toys. Like, some of these Japanese kids' toys are just so cool, and I don't know what they are. Anyway, so with all this travel, I found a bit of a lifesaver that I've used for every single trip, and instantly I sent it to all of my friends who are visiting me in Japan or going overseas. Look at the range of figures. I never know figure prices, like if these are good prices or not. So it's basically the quickest and easiest way to deal with eSIMs. Instead of searching around for Wi-Fi and eSIMs online for your trip, it is just one simple app called Saeli. It makes it so much easier. You can access SIMs for any country or region right within the app. And instead of giving my credit card information to different companies every single time and not knowing whether or not I was going to get a reliable SIM or not, I started noticing that just using this saved me so much stress. I had a layover in Thailand that went so smoothly because I was able to just grab like a 1 gigabyte eSIM and get some work done. It was fantastic. I don't really like doing all the bookings and research and everything for trips. There's just way too much to do and it's kind of overwhelming for me. So if you're anything like me, this is probably gonna be for you. Just one single app. You just select the SIM that you need, pop it into your phone, and done. They 100% get a 10 out of 10 from me. As long as they stay this awesome, I will be sure to drop reminders to you guys every now and then for them. It's definitely worth checking out, so download the Saeli app and use my code Tokyo Lens Explored to grab yourself an exclusive 15% discount. The link is also in the description box. But seeing as how easy it is and how many of you come to Japan, I very distractedly wanted to share that with you guys. Just an app that I use that literally makes all of my travel much easier, has reliable prices, and I can trust it. And now we're into housewares and clothing and everything, and this person loved beer. I don't know how I would trust that anymore. When I get into these sections, it's very, very rare to find them, but I'm always looking for the old Fire King mugs and whatnot, and places that really know will put them in the glass, but this place doesn't seem to have any. I will do a courtesy walk here through the women's and children's clothing section. Almost children's clothing is around 100 yen. What do you guys think? Should this be my new shirt? I think it should be my new shirt. It should be like the main Tokyo Lens shirt for Ichiman yen, 11,000 yen. And when you come out to these countryside ones, there's always wonderful sections like this for anybody looking to get used kimono at really reasonable prices. And some of them are really nice too. Such a wide range of colors. Also, all of the accessories, the number of people who gift towels in Japan, like imabari towels, for example. These are imabari towels. And imabari towels are like the best towels that you can get in Japan. They're like the brand of towel. And they'll often be packed into boxes like this and gifted to somebody for things like weddings or celebrations. Or people will often give someone a towel as like a congratulations for graduating from this company and moving on to your next line of work. And holy, there is so much to check out in here. There's a whole bag section, which is very dangerous for me because despite having more bags than a single person could ever need in their entire life, I always end up leaving these places with at least one duffel bag. And this year I kind of fell in love with snowboarding. Not intentionally, entirely accidentally. And now that like they have snowshoes here for 5,000 yen. And I kind of want just a snowboard that I can have in the studio just to play around and jump around and practice. And they're so cheap. Like it is Ichiman yen, 10,000 yen for this. And that would match the studio so well too. Oh, what is this? Look at this. It's a little bit short for me. And a little, pink is still pretty cool. What is going on here? You just trying to rip through the snow? What's your goal? Okay, we'll slide that one back in. Nice and safe. The clothing section is actually like one of my little minor anxiety sections because there's always so much and I don't know what to look at and focus on. But has anybody else noticed the complete decline in overall color since like the 80s and 90s? I saw a chart a few weeks ago that shows and talks about, also we'll look at the ladies stuff over here a little bit as we loop through. I saw this chart that talks about how color in general has just declined. Why would you need pockets on your set? I'm curious. Maybe you're just going out for a walk and you want to securely put your house key in there? What would you use this for? What would you use the whole pocket section for? I am so curious. New vintage. Those words work well together. And apparently somebody turned in some unused diapers. Multiple people did. All right. Continuing to loop through and search. Oh, we're back to our kimonos. Okay. So we'll come over this way. And then down this way because there's also a ton of camping gear and everything over here. We will slip into this side here. But yeah, they show this chart of like color over time declining. And somebody also shared a photo of like cars back in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s and cars now. And I've really noticed it in Japanese streets as well. I love to wear a really brightly colored jacket like this when I'm out about in the city, but it gains a lot of looks simply because most people are wearing black, gray, or brown. So being the guy wearing the really loud, colorful jacket really stands out. Got a little lamp here that I'm not going to pick up because I will most certainly break it. A whole bunch of clocks, not one of which is set or accurate. And a ton of sleeping bags and camping gear over here. Now, one of the questions I get when I do these videos is, do you ever actually buy anything or do you just walk through and look? And I almost every single time I'll end up getting something. In fact, more often than not, more than I actually want. And that is just, I think I just dropped a cardigan, guys. That was not the intention. Cardigan just slipped right off. I'm gonna try and fix that one with one hand, if I can. That works. Cardigan fixed. We're backing away slowly. But like, these little sport sack bags and whatnot, very retro, bright colored. It's such a loud speaker. All right, moving on over to this side. Every now and then there is like a certain item that gets really popular in Japan, like this style of dress. And sometimes you'll find multiple of the exact same dress, like 5, 6, or 7. And again, it makes me really curious as to who just turned in that dress or this shirt. What was this worn for? Again, color. Gotta love the color. And then over here, we have an entire housewares section. I will take a moment just to take a peek at some of the shoes for those of you who want to see them. Got some hunter boots here, and that's actually a pretty reasonable price, 5,000 yen for those, and they seem to be in decent condition. You got the leg warmer section up there. It's not too bad at all. All right. You can come out here and get yourself an office chair for 16,000 yen or even 10,000 yen. This little sofa here. Oh, that is really low. And to be honest, not all that comfortable. And I was just looking at this, seeing how dirty it was, and wondering, how much could this one be? How much could it possibly be? And it was 2,200 yen. That makes sense. Also, the mannequins. Like, I get that people love to do like clothing design and stuff like that, but I also know the size of Japanese houses and wonder just how many people actually have mannequins in their homes. And the katana for 6,600 yen, you know, farmers markets out in Canada would often sell stuff like this, and they'd actually be sharpened, but these ones are always set to be really dull. Like, that's actually a rounded edge. I have yet to see an actual like sharpened katana. Did anybody else have the sword store or the knife store that sold stores in their local shopping mall? And again, because we're out in the countryside, you get all the stuff like the fishing rods and a ton of outdoor stuff. And now not only do we have the speaker, but we have an announcement, and we have this little guy here. We'll name him Samuel L. Dinosaur. That's his name. Coat rack for $16. This might actually be my first time seeing a wheelchair in one of the hard offs, and it is 9,000 yen for that. But even like a decent road bike, most of the decent road bikes here, even used, you're looking at like, this one is 264,000 yen, 132,000 yen for that, 115,000 yen for this one here. They are still not exactly cheap whatsoever, but the washing machines are cheap. We're throwing back to when I said I struggle to remember words for things on cues. There's just so much pressure to remember the word washing machine. And then out here we get lighting. So I'm actually looking to get some lighting at the moment, and one of my big struggles is this right here. You see, I want square lights. They exist, but they're really challenging to find. Most of the lights in Japan are going to be circular lights, just like these ones. And the circular lights are available in absolute abundance, but sometimes can be really thick like this. What I'm looking for is really thin, but square. And unfortunately, that comes at a struggle and a price. We've got all the appliances and whatnot out here. Used baby seats and baby cars, strollers out here. Some as low as 2,200 yen. Huh. Well, it definitely has some scratches, as it says, but looks like it's in pretty decent condition for 2,200 yen. And then you get the colognes and perfumes and cosmetics and bags and watches, and I always look for nice kind of retro Timex or Casio watches. Like, that's not a bad looking Timex watch right there. For what? Is that the actual time? Huh. It's not too far off. Yeah, we're around midday, around 1:20 p.m. right now. And then you get some brand stuff that is packed into a case like this Gucci bag here, which really isn't in that great condition, but it's 5,500 yen. And then you get other kind of lower end brand stuff over here. So for example, Coach is wildly popular in Japan. And so you can get a Coach bag here, which oddly is not in a case, but costs 8,800 yen. That's more than the other one. This one for 1,100 yen. It's actually quite a bit of stuff here. More sunglasses. Oh, there we go. These sunglasses are so valuable that they required a lock on them. How much are these? 8,000. Okay, they're Oakley. 8,800 yen for those. I found a set of sunglasses in a thrift store out in the Aizu Wakamatsu area that I really, really loved. So very early on this, I was talking about how different areas have products that kind of represent that area. And if you go out to the snowier areas like Aizu Wakamatsu and Fukushima and stuff like that, Hakuba, all of those, you'll get a lot more of like the outdoorsy gear and the ski gear and stuff like that. And I am just really curious at, like, what are we, is it just for display? It feels like it's just for display. Like, this feels very plasticky, hand painted. Is it like a fridge or something? Oh, it's like a little cabinet. Interesting. And it can be yours for 5,500 yen. Now, there is about 2 billion other things here that I could look at in a lot more detail. Like these sake sets and all the little... This here was a product that came, I think you could like apply to win it or something. It was just the wildest thing for me. It would put more foam on your beer. You put it on top of a beer can, and then you pour your beer, and it will literally pour foam onto the top of your beer. Japan calls it the golden balance, and whereas a lot of countries, if you put more than that much head on a beer, you're gonna get yourself in a fight. In Japan, like a third of the beer is usually foam and head. And look at the range of shoes. I think a lot of these just haven't been worn or used either. Like if you look at the soles of these Nike high tops for 13,000 yen with 1,300 yen are actually brand new. They're usually, I skip over shoes and whatnot completely because I don't want to wear used shoes. But like these ones down here, these are lightly used, but definitely used. Apparently these are Jordans, but they also have completely unused and untouched ones in beautiful condition for incredibly reasonable prices. I know I'm gonna get sucked into the snowboarding area back there, but I did want to take a slightly deeper peek at the card section and this area that we kind of breezed through earlier, because so these will be broken down by color. You got like orange, pink, and white. And so the white ones would be 110 yen, the orange ones 220, and the pink ones 330. And she gets some nice, like that's an art rare card for 220 yen. I most certainly got sucked too deeply into Pokemon cards again for a while. I got like a collector's set. I did a whole bunch of like shorts about it and everything. It came in this beautiful box. In fact, I would laugh if this is the box right here. I bet it is. Oh, there it is, the Pokemon card game classic. Before they released it, there's no way. Oh, that is so painful. Okay, so this is only the case. But they knew people would be scalping to try and get this because basically every card was holographic. It was remakes of all the original cards. And we, in Japan, they like to really put limits on things and keep things kind of rare. And so what they did is had it as like a lottery system where you had to win the lottery in order to, oh, that is a cool Gengar. In order to, oh, they got the Tamagotchis here. What? Oh. Norm, you don't need a Tamagotchi. You're a full-grown adult. Spend your time looking at Godzilla instead. What is this? Okay. See, there's so much stuff that can suck you in. And so they want to create rarity. And so you win the lottery and then you can purchase the thing. And I managed to get it and I was super excited about it. And it says try me and I can't poke it. There's actually a lot of Star Wars and Marvel stuff in here. I'd collected all this Star Wars stuff when I was young, thinking that eventually it would be really worth something, but ended up not really being worth as much as you would think. Mind you, stuff like this you could probably take overseas and sell it for considerably more. than it would be sold for here in Japan. Like, oops, this is 4,950 yen. So you're looking like what, 30 to 35 USD for that, depending on when it came out as well. But Micro Machines feels like it was a long time ago. Does it have a date on it? It's probably got a date written on it somewhere. 1997. Like, this is a Star Wars toy from 1997 that you can come out to this thrift store in Japan and pick up for 5,000 yen, which to me is absolutely just wild. Are there any really big figure collectors in the comment section or in the chat right now? I would love to know your take on the figure section in stores like this, because my brother Alexander is a huge figure collector. He doesn't collect huge figures, he collects a lot of figures. And to me, I'm like, oh, here's a figure for 550 yen, or here's one for 1,000 yen. And this one here, you know, it says there is damage to the box, right? But they still seem fairly reasonable, and I feel like they would sell really well overseas, but I don't know how that works. Do specific figures sell? Does it have to be from a major anime? Like, I am by no means appraised of all the characters that there are out there, but I would love to know a little bit more about it and understand a bit about how that works. And these Kirby's over here are killing me. I have Kirby's hidden all throughout my studio, and I recently did a video with Okazaki-san, the architect, former architecture student, now architect, who always does the tiny apartment videos with me. Also, these guys are really, really popular in Japan right now. They are absolutely everywhere. And this one is 1,000 yen. And how about these Kirby's? What are we looking at? Around 1,000 yen for the Kirby's as well. And Okazaki-san came in and kind of reacted to / tore apart my YouTube studio, giving me her input as a very creative architect student, who I guess now architect, and somebody's playing one of the instruments. And that is actually made out of metal. I looked at it and I was like, ooh, shiny thing. And it's from... Oh, that's kind of neat. It's from Harry Potter apparently, and is a... I can't remember the word. It's the word pressure. It's a clock, sand clock. My English is gone. I've absolutely lost it. I've actually spent the last couple of days in Japanese, mostly doing contract work and a bunch of negotiations for stuff and talking about construction stuff and all of that. And all of this Japanese time has messed with my English brain. But stuff like this, every now and then, I think I found a Pan Am model once from the 1950s or 60s or something, and it was unbelievably expensive because it was perfectly in box. But you get, I don't even know what this Bandai toy is right here, but I will tell you right now, 100%, I want it. And this woman just turned over this bag over here and has a biplane in it. Oh, the airplane. Oh, there's another biplane here. I know I shouldn't, but it's stuff like this that I end up walking out with almost every single time that I come into these places. I'm gonna try really, really hard today not to walk out of here with that snowboard, just because, plain and simple, I don't really have space for it. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. But my buddy Noah brought me a whole bunch of these like Boeing planes. Is this all Minions? Oh my goodness gracious. These like packed into bags of enjoyment, just here's a whole bunch of like, for example, Mario stuff. Oh my goodness gracious. Is this like a, oh no. Is this a train set? I feel like it's one of those little car sets that, like, it's got the, and this is 550 yen. It's like a Mario Kart set. Again, don't need it. There's so much stuff that I don't need. And I love that everybody's like, just go for it, dude. If you find something you like, go for it. But storage is a thing, people. There's only so many items that I can hold on to and make space for. And I've just started like tucking stuff into Shimayama-san's shop gradually and hiding it within there. But then you don't see it as much. So again, all the airsoft stuff here as well. Guys, honestly, this is the type of place where you could probably come and spend a solid 2 to 3 hours just hanging out. Even just in the junk section is spectacular and massive. What is this little controller? It's so mini. I have an emulator for my phone that allows me to play old N64 games, and I exercise that greatly, but I end up carrying around a whole Xbox controller with me to connect Bluetooth to my phone, and having something tiny like this would actually work a lot better, and it looks like it charges via USB-C. Okay, guys, Norman's now building a small collection of things that he's probably gonna go home with. I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comments below, and we will see you again real soon. What would you have bought?